I guess shout out to OBS for making me really wide. But what's going on, guys? It's Tyler from Gaining Purpose. I'm just here to provide a little update. So if you guys don't notice, Ashton's not in this episode of the podcast. Like I need a drink. I'm thirsty. But yeah, if you don't notice, Ashton's not in this episode of the podcast. So Ashton isn't leaving Gaining Purpose by any means necessary. First of all, they just weren't able to do this episode this week, which is totally fine. Probably won't happen again. We don't plan on it. But over this last week, we've done a lot of talking and everything, about where Gaining Purpose is going, what we're doing with it, what we want to focus on. And simply to put it as easy as it can be, Ashton is no longer going to be a writer at Gaining Purpose. That's all going to be handled onto me. Now, of course, we will be collaborating on things, of course, as we always do, because we do work together through everything that we do. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that you guys see that'll get posted up on the main page that is going to be from me written directly, but we're probably going to collab on things a little bit, go for some advice from one another. But Ashton is still going to be there for podcast episodes, in-person interviews, and all of that, as well as we're working on some other things as well. We're working on a really big project right now that I cannot wait for everybody to see. We're kind of starting to figure out everything, piece it all together, how to do it, and then that'll be up in the future. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this episode with the one and the only Big Ass Truck. I love you all. Enjoy the episode. What's going on, guys? It's Gaining Purpose time. We don't have our other person here this week. They're kind of sick, so we're trying to figure that out right now. But today, we got my man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's do it.
What's up? My name's Abel. I'm the vocalist of Big Ass Truck.
The goats right now. The band that I can't seem to stop talking about. The Big Ass Truck. So
Loud ass.
it's the craziest thing ever. It's awesome. It's ignorant. It's great. I love it.
Thank you.
And we might as well hop into this. How did this whole project begin? How did you guys start it?
Big Ass Truck has 5 members in it, and we're a conglomeration of, as every local band starts, we're a combination of many other bands.
Yep.
And these bands, we went on tour in 2023 or last year. Yeah, last year we went on tour in June.
Okay.
And during the drive, I was just like, we must have been listening to God's Hate or something, or something ignorant, and we were just jamming out. And I was like, man, I really want to. I was just being stupid, and I was like, I really want to make a stupid, ignorant beatdown band and just call it Big Ass Truck. 'Cause I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, we were driving down the road, and I saw a giant semi, and I was like, that's fucking perfect.
That's the band right there. We're naming the band after that guy.
So it literally all started as a big joke, and the day I said that, we had our friend who was running merch for us, his name's Chris Rue. He came up to me, he's like, yo, Big Ass Truck. And I was like, what? It was just a joke. So it slowly just snowball affected. And then my drummer Andres, he's the drummer of God Awful. He came up to me, or he was texting me after the tour a couple months. He's like, man, we got to get a project going. Hey, what's up with Big Ass Truck? And I was like, oh, we'll get it going, yada yada. And then slowly we're from California, and there's this fest called Mosh for Youth, and they throw a fest. It's a bunch of hardcore bands. They accumulate money to give scholarships to teams that qualify for it.
Sick.
And I was there at the fest I think it was back in September 30th. And I went up to him. I was like, man, this is a make or break, because we had been working with my other band, Ashiki, had been working with our producer, Manny, who's super chill. He knows slam. He knows the fucking guttural music and shit, the back of his hand. Yeah. So I went up to Andres and I was like, hey, man, if you want to take this shit serious, if you want to take this joke band serious, I'll hit him up right now. And he's like, yeah, man, go ahead. So
hell yeah.
Texted him, and then, yeah, it's all...
And then it's just been going at it.
Big ass riffs ever since then.
Dude, it's crazy, because you guys kind of just randomly came under not even just my radar, but I think everyone here in the East Tennessee hardcore community. Um,
Yeah.
it was like I just had a friend of mine. She posted your all's EP, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And she's like, "Oh, it's you music," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I don't know what the
That's
fuck that." I was
awesome.
like, "I don't know what the fuck that means," but all right. And then I was like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever." And then everybody has just not stopped talking about it,
That's so
and
funny.
it's great.
It's it's so funny because like I it started as a joke. We didn't want it to blow up or anything like that. Like we just like, hey, this is fun. We want to make ignorant ass shit. Like we literally spent like Big Ass Dog was made in 30 minutes. Like
As it should
we
be.
threw it all together and we were just having fun with the lyrics, literally laughing, just drinking beers the whole time and like making jokes on the lyrics and all that stuff.
We,
So the fact that like people are enjoying it in the same manner that we did when we made it is like that fills my soul. I fucking love it.
I think
And
that's
we
kind
have
of
like it's so funny that like you say you're from Tennessee. Like we have people hitting us up. Like we just announced our show and they're like, "Hey, is this in North Carolina?" And I'm like, "Nah, man. Like we're in California." Like because the address wasn't on there. We got people
yeah.
in Australia like being like, "Yo, is this in Sydney?" I'm like,
Oh,
"Nah, dude. I'm
dog.
sorry."
The vibe I would have guessed like North Carolina or Tennessee or Texas because it's
Exactly.
so dumb. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this sounds like some stuff that would come out of here. This only makes sense. I'm
My
like,
biggest fear, dude. It's my biggest fear. Like, if we ever go to Texas, that we're gonna get pressed. It's like,
nah,
yo, what the fuck? Like,
nah.
yeah, no, it's been awesome, man.
I think beatdown is one of those genres that it can't be serious at all. Because like, if
Yeah,
beatdown's serious, I'm like, oh, you really aren't about it. Like, you just don't get it.
yeah,
It's
I
just like
get
one thing.
that.
I'm like, the stupider it is, the better it is. That's just what
Exactly,
I
man.
don't want you to be like, yeah, I really am this hard ass. I'm like, no, you're not. Just stop, make a little
Yeah,
joke. Be a little silly about it. It makes it fun for me. Like
that
tsunamis
was
that way.
like,
It's all
yeah,
just
exactly,
like,
yeah,
no, this is just dumb to be dumb. That's what it should be.
exactly. And it kind of like separates you from the mold because if you're serious
Hmm.
about beatdown, that's like 90% of other beatdowns. So our whole thing was like, hey, let's at least make it funny and make the riffs wacky as fuck.
It's like
You
have a goofy ass theme. It's like no, the band's called Big Ass Truck, and then it's Big Ass Demo, which is just fucking like they
Yeah,
got the bit going on. I like that. Every
exactly.
song title's goofy as hell. It's just it's perfect. It's exactly what I think most people look for in beatdown anymore. Because if you're looking for serious beatdown, then you're probably gonna be a little disappointed.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys just making it fun and doing it that way, I think just it adds to it. It adds to the flavor of like, oh, we didn't fucking expect this to even become anything that people liked. It was just for fun.
Yeah,
So
exactly, man.
it adds that charm too. We have a lot of bands like that from around here, and those are like all of everybody's favorite bands. Are the ones that's like, oh, we just do this for fun. Like there's no way we're doing this seriously.
Yeah,
It's like okay,
exactly. Everyone's got to be in on the joke, you know?
yeah. If you're not in on the joke, then you're just really gonna miss out on something special. But
Exactly.
do you guys like have any plans to do shows or anything? Is that something you all are like ever looking to do, or is it looking just to be kind of like, no, we just put out music?
So, when we introduced the idea to everyone, like we were already in like main projects. Each member was already in a project that they were maining, but you know,
Yeah.
time goes on, plans change, and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
so I told them initially like, hey, like this is just something I want to do with you guys, because I just want to have fun, you know, like it's gonna be funny, and when we drop it, I know people are gonna love it, like they're gonna like joke about it and stuff like that. Um, but I was like, if it like does get some traction, we can play shows. But I told them literally like I want to do like like God's Hate does it perfectly.
Yeah.
They don't like tour a lot, and when they play a show, it's like a big fest or like a big show in general, you know. So we're gonna run like that kind of work line, you know.
I could.
So if we get like a big offer or something like that, we'll play it. But like we're not trying to press each other on this, and
Yeah.
we're still focusing on our main projects and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's literally for fun.
You guys. That's like definitely I think the way that a lot of bands like you all and God's Hate and stuff like really thrive is
Mm.
you all make the demand wanted. Like you don't tour full time. You're just like, no, when we play a show, we play. You better be there. Or you're gonna fucking miss out, which is
Yeah,
cool. It's like, oh, these guys don't play all the time to draw out, a couple thousand people if they
yeah,
can. Like it's a really it adds a bit of specialness to it as well. But like with also like God's Hate, and I think a lot of bands that do that whole thing as well. Like it adds like usually each show they do like special merch for it. Like this is the only time you can get this, and once it's out, we're never doing it again. So there's like
yeah,
that special stuff to it as well. It's cool. It's one thing I do like that's kind of becoming a little bit more prominent in hardcore, I've noticed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like that's kind of like the big traction to it, is that, like, you don't want to dry yourself out. So
Yeah, 100%. I think the bands that tour full time do it well, and they can keep doing it. But also, there's like the special bands that you can dive deeper in. They're like, these bands are special too, but they don't do this full time. They do this to have fun with it, and that's what makes them special. Like God's Hay, I think. Like I think anymore you could throw Trapped Under Ice in there and stuff like that as well, where it's like,
oh yeah,
when you play, you better be there because who knows when we're doing it again. But
before we drop this subject, I forgot that we do actually have a show coming up on
really?
May 18th. So anyone from California hears this, but yeah, May 18th is our first show.
Hell yeah.
And it's gonna be for our homies in Muerte Buena. It's their last show. It's a freaking stacked lineup locally. It's Muerte Buena, 97 Minutes, Darsum, some bands, some of our homie bands from the Bay coming through. It's gonna be a whole big thing.
Hell yeah.
But like yeah, and that's funny. Like Muerte Buena, like one of the members is in Big Ass Truck, so it's like a kind of weird rebirth.
Hey, we have that all around here. Like it seems like everyone in this area just kind of interchanges bands. So like when there's multiple on like same day lineups, you're gonna see that same person 3 times playing 3 different sets.
Exactly,
and they're having fun. It's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm here for that. It's kind of I like bands that do that a lot. Whenever a band has like every member has like a different project, and then that stems into other projects. I'm like, oh, this is cool. You just give me more good shit to listen to.
Yeah.
Especially like I know you were talking about your main project. Like, what is that more geared to? Because I don't think I've heard that before.
So all of our main projects, like my main project is called Ashiki. We're more like metalcore, you know, like just fucking.
What kind of metalcore are we talking?
It's like Amir Vane type stuff, like effects heavy type of stuff. I have a big ass pedal board in that shit, so I'm just making fucking noises. And our homie Andres on drums, his is god awful hardcore.
I've heard of that band. I don't think I've actually checked it out, but I have heard the name.
They're fucking dope, man. They're sick as fuck, and they've been blowing up lately. And Jacob, our bassist, he's also in Ashiki, and he's the guitarist of Muerte Buena. A fucking legendary band. Love Muerte Buena. Watch those dudes fucking rise up.
That name sounds familiar. I'm not able to pinpoint it off the top of my head.
SoCal, man. SoCal, Inland Empire, hardcore.
I feel
definitely
so bad
check them out.
I feel bad all the time because there's like bands that people have mentioned who come on, and I'm like, I don't listen to so much shit, and sometimes stuff gets wrapped in my memory, and I'm like, what the hell have I listened to?
Yeah.
So anymore, I try to whenever I'm editing these, I'll go back and make like a little list of bands that are mentioned that I may like need to go back and visit. Yeah. So you'll probably happen here.
Oh yeah, and our rhythm guitarist Brett. We have 2 Bretts in the band, which I think is fucking hilarious because like Brett is not a common name.
No, we actually, for some reason, like outside of this whole thing, we have a friend named Brett. It's not a common. There's only one of them, and he's the weirdest little fella, but we love him.
These are the first 2 Bretts I've ever met in my life, dude, and I got 2 of them.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I know Brett, our rhythm guitarist. He's in another band called Abominate. It's IE beat down hardcore.
Okay.
Fucking ass beater motherfuckers. I love those dudes. And then Brett, our bassist, he's in a slam band called Desoectomy. Ooh. They are fucking sick, dude. They just dropped an EP. Man, they have like Killing Flesh features on it and stuff. It's so fucking.
Is it like OG slam stuff, like the really like gross sounding stuff, or is it more like the newer stuff?
Yeah, like their cover art is literally a bear ripping someone's face off.
I like it. That's gonna be fun to list. I'm a big Ashton, the other person who does this with me, who's not only doing like the video stuff with us. They're like all hardcore, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm all like death metal, slam, and like OG deathcore stuff. So it's like we have a fine balance of what we like. Like we both started in the hardcore scene. I still love hardcore, but death metal has just like been my thing, and I'm like, okay, cool. You have a slam project. I'm gonna go ahead and go listen to that for like 4 days and be a happy little guy. That's simply how I do it. But
that's exactly how Big Ass Truck is, man. Like we're all over the place with our influences. It mixes together well.
You have to though. I feel like to like actually make good hardcore, you can't just have hardcore be your main influence, because then it's like it's derivative. You're like, oh, this is exactly what you're doing. So yeah, I think if you have like a little bit of like of everything, it's like, oh, this is cool. That's why like it was like low key hard to write for you all, because I'm like, god damn, there's a lot in here that I could say, but I only have so many pages I can do on Instagram for an article. So I gotta like find some way to concise this. I'm like, it's like beatdown meets slam almost meets like OG deathcore. It's kind of a
Yeah.
lot, but it's cool, and it's the loudest thing you'll ever hear. Like that was one thing that surprised me because again, I listen to like a lot of death metal and stuff. So I'm used to like a little bit more rougher production. I'm like, oh, okay, and like
Mhm.
when people say like, oh, this is your type of shit, I'm like, okay, I expect that, and I was like, oh, this is just like loud as hell. Like it's
Yeah.
big. Like the big ass truck really does fit the vibe here. I'm like, yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a big ass truck just ran my ass over as I'm listening to this.
It's so funny because like that was literally before we start a project with our Manny is our producer. It's a Hatred 6 Audio on Instagram. He produces in the Inland Empire. Fucking badass, dude. He's
Okay.
done so much crazy shit. I don't know. Have you heard of the band Smoke 909?
That name sounds pretty familiar. That sounds like a
Like death
program.
metal beatdown.
Okay.
They've been blowing up too in SoCal, but he did their shit, and it's
Okay.
like they're fucking awesome. But anytime we work with him, before we even start, he's like, "What do you guys want this to sound like? Like, give me an idea." And honestly, like, even if you could just tell me like a sound, like, it doesn't have to be a band. Just give me like what you want to know. And I was like, I told him, I was like, dude, like, I want this to be like the loudest thing you've ever made. I want it to be just ignorant as shit. And a band he showed me that he was like comparing it to, he's like, I could do this for you, was a Pissant. Have you heard of
I
Pissant?
have heard of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I've heard of
they
that.
dude, they're fucking crazy, man. Pissant is badass. But he showed us Pissant, and I was like, dude, that yes, exactly like that. Just in your face, just nonstop, just fucking hammering in your ears. Like, it was awesome. So we went that route, and I was like, this is fucking perfect, man. Like, and he threw a bunch of all kinds of like crazy overdrives over our tone and shit, and just made it sound just made. I was like, I want the guitar, especially the bass, to sound like an engine. Like
Mhm.
if I'm just hitting the open note, I just want it to sound like an engine idling. He was like, "All right, yeah, I got you." It's
I
fucking
didn't
heavy
think,
as
but yeah,
shit.
you kind of got it there with that. Like
Fucking awesome.
that actually kind of fits the description of what the guitar tone even sounds like is like a literal vehicle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But you know
That was the whole plan.
that kind of steers me into the next thing I wanted to ask because clearly you all come from a lot of different backgrounds, and of course it's just you here and not the whole band. But like, what were your like things that got you into hardcore and like heavy music? Like, what made you go, oh, I want to do
Oh,
this. This is cool.
so I graduated high school in 2014, and I was like my sophomore year. I met my group of friends that eventually like I was in bands with and shit. I started my first band with my homies. The main one I talked to still is Wyatt. His name is Wyatt Jablonski. He's hardcore barb on Instagram. He does like design and stuff like that.
Okay.
He's actually the guy that did all of Big Ass Truck's art,
Okay.
all our official art.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we were in bands together, and like literally prior to doing anything hardcore, I was like the heaviest thing I was listening to was like Alice in Chains Dirt. And then
That's a
I met
record.
them. Yeah, dude, a legendary
That's a
record. But
record.
what's it called? I met them, and like they showed me the cleansing.
That right there is
Dude, oh my god,
I will die.
man.
I will die on the hill of that is the best deathcore record ever recorded. Nothing will
Oh,
ever
dude,
stand.
100%. And like that shit just snowballed me down. Like so they showed me the cleansing, and then I led me into fucking disengage, and to this day that riff gets stuck in my head like
That's a really good
at
one.
least 2 weeks out of the year.
You're like, yeah, this is just here.
Yeah.
I
If you ever see a big ass truck practice, there's not a moment if I get a guitar, I'm not playing that riff. Especially if it's a 7 string, bro. Oh my god. Love that shit. But
mine is always I fucking love the falling off the cleansing. That's like the song that I'm like, yep, this is the coolest thing ever. The like
oh, 100%.
chorusy part in it's like really cool. That's like the one that I always look back on.
Yeah, dude. That album was like I can directly relate that album and Kublai Khan's Balancing Survival and Happiness to my like
That is
snowballing
that's crazy.
into
That's not one that people talk about a lot from Kublai Khan. That's a good
dude,
one though.
it blows my mind, man. Like I still think to this day that's my favorite Kublai Khan record.
That's
That's
a
the
really
one that I think
fucking good
had
one.
like the most emotion in it and stuff. But
Yeah.
right, but yeah, like just meeting those guys kind of like snowballed me into hardcore and stuff like that. I was always more of a like metalcore leaning,
Hmm.
you know, so like Disembodied, On Broken Wings, that kind of shit,
Yep.
and all like all my homies were like more into obviously the hardcore like two-step and type beat and stuff
Yep.
like that. So they kind of taught me those ways. But so I went in I was in bands up until like the beginning of 2015, and then I was like the bands kind of fell apart, and I was like, what the fuck do I do with my life? So I was trying to figure stuff out. Eventually joined the military.
Oh,
I was in the Navy. I joined the Navy in August of 2015.
okay.
And funnily enough, I was supposed to be a computer like technician, and a bunch of like medical shit eventually led me to being a diesel mechanic. So
That's
I ended
funny.
up
Cause
yeah, I ended up being a diesel mechanic accidentally for 7 years.
that's fucking hilarious. Cause
Exactly.
one
Yeah.
of one of our best friends who got out of the military last year, he was in the army, but he was also a diesel mechanic. So I was like, oh
That's
shit.
funny, man. That's funny. It's funny too, because like you would think that's the perfect job for what position I have in the band, big ass truck.
Yeah.
But all the diesel shit I work on is you can't relate it to any kind of vehicles. It's
Yeah.
all military vehicles, so it's all different inner workings and shit.
Yep.
It's so
It's a
rough,
whole different
but,
fucking thing you gotta hop into. That is-
Exactly. So, but yeah, I did 7 years in the military, and I got out early 2022.
Okay.
But late like July 2021, I started my metalcore project Ashiki, and I eventually got members for that. And when I got out, I got to California, and I like linked back up with all my old friends from high school that still played music. And yeah, that got the ball rolling on that, made connections, met everyone in Big Ass Truck, and yeah, it all just snowball affected into now.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's definitely an adventure to get into this whole thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's insane. For me,
Yeah,
it's been
doing it.
it's been a weird thing just cause
Yeah.
I've lived like kind of everywhere. Cause like I spent most of my life in East Tennessee, which is actually now where I live again. But when my mom remarried, her husband's in the Air Force and lived in Florida. And then-
Chair forts, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's
Dude.
great. It was cool. That happened when I was 16. So I was like
Oof.
used to living here for 16 years, and then my mom was like, "Hey, you're leaving," and I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "What?" And then
Yeah,
we
that's the fucking worst.
yeah, we lived in Florida, and that's like really where like I actually got to start going to shows because we like didn't have that here until recently.
Yeah.
And it's weird being around like a bunch of the younger kids that are now getting into this here because I'm like, this wasn't a fucking thing when I was a kid. Like, I was relentlessly bullied in school because I liked hardcore because people didn't know what the hell that was. So now like
Yes, dude.
having like crazy shows here all the time, and I'm like, what the
you guys
fuck?
have been blowing up too, man. Like
Yeah.
fucking one of my favorite bands is from there, fucking Chamber. Love
Oh, yeah.
it. From
Yep.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
They're on the opposite
guys-
side of
you
the
guys are
state. They're over on the opposite side of the state from me. We're over on East
Yeah.
Tennessee side, but we have Chamber. We had them here last year. I wasn't able
Chamber
to
and
go to that
Orthodox,
show.
yeah.
Also, both goated bands. Dozen Black Roses also goated as
Dude,
hell.
fuck yeah. Yeah.
Um,
all my homies down here just fucking they hype the shit out of it, like Tennessee hardcore.
It's
Sure,
great.
it's
It has only got better. Especially like since I've started going to shows here, which was about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
I took like a break off of going to shows for a while just because I was like, I got to get my life together, and
I feel you.
started going to shows again. And it was weird. The first show that I went to here, we had No Cure doing a headliner, and
Oh yeah.
I've always like I've went to shows for quite a while, so I've always known what to expect from like younger kids bands. Where I'm like, this isn't gonna be anything like that great, but I'm still gonna support them because they're cool.
Yeah.
But there's a band full of kids here that are I think 14 and 15, and they
Yeah.
opened with a fucking irate cover, and it was the most badass thing ever. And I was like, oh my god, this place is cool.
That's awesome,
It's like,
dude.
yep. I was like, this is
Holy
what I
shit.
like. This is
That's
awesome.
how you immediately vet yourself in the scene.
Oh,
being that young and playing irate, oh dude.
Dude,
that's
there's
badass.
some like cool kid bands here that just do that kind of shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this. I was like, where was this at whenever I was fucking 14 and living here? Like, why couldn't I have this? Now I'm in my
Exactly, man.
20s, and I'm like, oh man, like why couldn't I start a band like that? Everybody here was like,
Yeah.
you're weird for liking that, but no,
That's so fucking cool.
I love shit. And, I mean, California hardcore is where I started. Like my aunt lived in California whenever I was younger, and she came back here. to Tennessee, and the first thing she said, "Have you ever heard 'Stick to Your Guns?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." And from that moment on, I was like, "Oh well, this is my new favorite thing, whatever the fuck that
Hell
was I just
yeah.
heard." So
That was another one in my high school that like right after I found out about Kublai Khan.
Yep.
Stick to Your Guns, the fucking Diamond Man. Oh my god.
literally, I have a hoodie under. I have a "Stick to Your Guns" hoodie on underneath this shirt because it's
Hell
cold.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the first song I ever heard from them was "Such Pain," and I was
that's
like,
a fucking
"This
banger.
is fucking insane."
That was the first time I seen this, the song they opened up with, and I was like, "Oh, this," because that was like my first like hardcore experience, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, people are actually hurting each other. This is cool. I want to do that." Because
Awesome.
I'd been going to like metal shows and shit, and that was like definitely the draw for hardcore. That was like, I can't do the things I want to do at a metal show. Like I want to swing.
Yeah.
And then I did for a time, and I was like, all right, nothing ever again. I don't care if I get injured. Fuck it, it's cool.
Yeah.
But all right, now we can get a little silly here. All right,
For sure.
because I like getting a little silly. You guys are a little silly band, so that just means I get to ask these questions. Typically, I'd have
Very
somebody else
true.
here to back me up and ask these dumbass questions, but it's cool. So, what y'all like to eat? What's y'all's favorite foods?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like I could be fucking puking my guts out, but if you fucking show me a solid like New Haven style pizza, I'm fucking it up. I will destroy it.
Damn.
Pizza is my like
You
that's
damn
my
right.
shit,
You
man.
damn right it is.
Yes, man.
I'm a-
Pizza, yo.
I love to hear it. I'm a pizza man at heart. Most people fucking hate me because they're like, "Well, what do you want to eat?" And I'm like, "Oh, there's pizza." And they're like, "You had that yesterday." I'm like, "Did I ask?" I didn't say
Yeah.
what did I have yesterday. I said, "Hey, there's pizza. We can go get it." So
Wasn't a suggestion.
you're a Connecticut style man. Is that the Connecticut
dude.
the sweet sauce, right?
I can directly blame that on the fucking One Bite Reviews videos on YouTube. Oh, when that was like all I found those shits in like 2018, and it was all that's all I watched still. Like fucking, I'll be like getting food, and I'll get to my room, and I'll be like, what do I put on? Like watch a movie. One Bite Reviews, fuck it.
Hell yeah.
I'm just
That
watching
works.
another guy eat. But yeah, man, like I fucking there was a point in time in like 2019 where I was like avidly going out looking for pizzas and stuff like
Hell
that.
yeah.
And I would go to spots because I was living in Virginia. So,
Oh, really? What part?
Like New York. I was in Norfolk because I was attached to
that's-
I was attached to the base there.
That's crazy because that's like
Yeah.
about 2 hours from us. Like, not even kidding. I live on the Tennessee Virginia border.
Yeah.
I live in the Bristol area. That's
Yeah.
like I can walk over.
Yeah, no, I was there for like 3 years.
Okay.
Three and a half years. Because
That's sick.
I was on the boat there. I don't know if I don't even know if you know any of the boats or anything there, but
No,
the fucking
I do
I was there on the Ford for like 3.5 years just doing bullshit. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, like I deep dove into pizza for like a year straight, and I
That's-
just he's right, man. New Haven is the best style. Like,
Is that the
crispiness of it,
is that the
it's
sweet
nuts.
sauce pizza? Is it in New Haven? that does the-
It's the crispy underside. Like it's just the loudest crunch of all the pizzas,
Okay.
basically.
See,
like-
I'll be honest. I think Connecticut style is the only style I haven't got to have yet because there's like
Yeah.
nowhere around here that has it. Nowhere that I've lived has had it.
Yeah.
I'm a classic. I love a New York slice and I love a Sicilian slice too. Those are like my
Oh,
two
dude,
go-tos.
Yes,
That's
Sicilians are fucking good. Any of the square styles, like
Mhm.
granny style stuff.
Love
dude,
that
oh
shit.
my God.
But
Delicious.
for me though, it can't be like the thin crust granny style. It has to be the thick ass crust. That's
Oh, 100%.
crispy on the
dude.
other side. I'm like, yep. And people think I'm weird for this because everybody's like, how do you rate pizza when you guys? I'm like, if they don't have a good pepperoni slice, it ain't good. That's just the
Yeah.
that's the baseline. If you can't do pepperoni right, why the hell you have a pizza joint? Like
Exactly.
that just tells me you're not good, and I'm not gonna waste my time. on
That's me with cheese. That's the base slice. If you can't have a good cheese pizza, you're not gonna
you.
have a good
That
pizza.
fits too. That also fits a good. That's the big thing for me. Also, I hate places that skimp on cheese for pizza.
Christ,
Pile
man.
that shit, please. Like,
Got the tomato holes in there, and shit.
Yeah,
You can see the sauce.
and I'm like, I don't want to see that. No, pile it, dog. Like, put it on there. Like,
Exactly.
they're like, oh, it can cause constipation. Like, didn't fucking ask. Put more cheese. Like, does it look like I care?
I
Like,
know the risk, man.
yeah, I know the risk that I'm taking doing this. Pile it. Like, just gotta put him in there. Gotta let him know, hey, you gotta do it.
I can't really speak for the other guys, but Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
me.
cool.
Cheat pizza, and definitely if it's
Hell
not
yeah.
available, a burger. Good
I do,
old burger.
do love a good burger. We have a famous fast food spot out here called Pal's, and every time we have a band come here that hasn't been here, I'm like, you have to go to Pal's, and they're like, well, what does it look like? And I'm like, you won't fucking miss it because the building is a giant hamburger, a hot dog, fries, and a drink. That's the building. So you'll see it, and you're like, oh, that's the place he was talking about, and it's goated. They're all, but two of them aren't drive-through only, but all the other ones are drive-through only. It's like their thing.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's everyone here will tell you and ride by it. If you don't like Pals, you just don't get it. You're not here.
There was this spot in Norfolk, right outside the base that I don't know if it's a chain now, but it was blowing up when I went, and it's called Sal Mitch's, like SAL Mitch's, Sal Mitch's.
Okay.
And they just went all out on their burgers. Like literally every burger had a 1 pound, like a half-pound patty in it at least.
Damn.
And that was the only place I've been to that I saw do a PB&J burger.
Okay.
It was insane. But yeah, that shit.
Cool.
Like if your burgers are big like that, oh my god.
Oh damn,
I'm gonna fold.
this looks good as hell.
Yeah.
We have-
Are you looking at it? Yeah, it's nuts.
we have shows up in Norfolk quite often. Like everybody drives up there for them, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that in my search history, so we can go up there and be like, hey,
Dude, yeah.
here's our spot.
They got that, and then they have a poutine fries.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Ooh,
Yeah, dude.
that's
It's nuts.
See, I'm not typically a brown gravy man. I'm a white sausage gravy.
Oh, I feel
the
that.
southern thing. I'm not typically for it, especially on chicken. I'm like, get that the fuck off of there. Get that away.
Yeah.
Toothing though, it gets a pass. It gets a pass. That's
White gravy is way better.
yeah. Oh, dude, white gravy on biscuits. I'm like, sign me up. Give me 6.
There's no other way. It will literally ruin my day if my biscuits and gravy is brown gravy.
Damn right. I had my mom's ex-husband. His mom would make biscuits gravy with brown gravy, and I'm like, what is this? Like,
Jesus Christ.
that's not right. She's like, it's a New York thing. I'm like, no, it's not.
We're keep that shit in New York.
Yeah, like we're not in New York. I can tell you that much.
Oh.
Because somebody hands that to me and be like, take it back, like remake the gravy. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's nuts. Do that.
All right, man. And because I know you said you're running on some time here, so I'm gonna hit you with one last question, then we're gonna hop out of here.
For sure.
So typically we have 3 albums to pick out, and we're trying to switch one here recently. So I'm gonna give you 3 albums to choose from. You gotta choose your favorite one, and that is Marauder's Master Killer, Hatebreed's The Satisfaction is the Death of Desire,
Oh fuck.
and All Out War for Those Who Were Crucified.
Brother.
I
I know for a fact I'm gonna have friends that are gonna beat my ass when I say this.
No.
But definitely Hatebreed for me. Satisfaction, dude.
Oh shit! You're the first
Oh my
person.
god. Dude, I don't know, man. Like
Action's gonna be
the first track. I remember hearing the first track for the first time, man. Empty Promises, like that shit blew my mind. Like I don't know. Master Killer, obviously, respect to All Out War and
fucking. See, I'm
always loved Hatebreed and the fucking Satisfaction.
I'm the Master Killer guy, and then Ashton's the Hatebreed one. And no one, when we have them on, ever picks Hatebreed. And the one time they miss, someone picks Hatebreed. So I'm now gonna go rub it in their head, like, hey, you would not believe this, but Hatebreed finally got picked. I'm like, fucking hell. And I'm like, yep, shouldn't have been sick. That's your fault.
Our homies in Abominate, they used to cover Burn the Lies. Sorry, not fucking Burn the Lies. They fucking covered Puritan.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, man, like just every time they played it, it was like, holy fuck. It always a crazy crowd reaction and shit.
I think anytime I've heard I think there's 3 bands that I've heard people cover that I'm like, I gotta do something here, which is Hatebreed, Irate, 100 Demons. That's like the 3 that I'm like, you bringing the worst out in me. Like, why'd you do that? Don't do it again. But I love it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But man, first of all, I just want to say thank you for stopping by here and doing this with us.
Yeah,
I know
man, it was fun.
I know our other person's missing, but I'll let him know that you picked Hatebreed just to piss him off. But
Hell yeah, dude.
Thank you for that. I do greatly appreciate it. You all, if you haven't went through and read it yet, we did a piece for Big Ass Truck not too long ago. You should go read it. We also have a couple of songs from the EP over in our playlist. They'll be linked down below. All of Big Ass Truck stuff will be linked down there as well. We love you all, and we will catch you later.
Deuces.